outside these doors. And one last breath in and released. There is only right here and right now, which shouldn't seem difficult to think about, but the world being as it is, and our place in it, it is not a task for the weak of heart, or the faint of heart. But we strengthen our hearts through being in this moment, here and now, being where our hands are. So we settle into the breath, knowing that the breath is our anchor, and our anchor is our breath. And how vital this breath has become in the awareness of this breath. And the faith in this breath. And the reverence for this breath. That we don't take lightly, but that it's a gift. To be one with the breath. And knowing that we breathe from a place of safety. And that our breath is blessed. We are safe to take in a breath and to release a breath. For this is spirit, the breath, prana, nearer than hands and feet, breath, spirit. Thoughts, like clouds passing overhead. They will always be coming and going. We return to the breath, calm now, a gift now. Safe now. In this moment, just this, here and now, in the silence. As we return to the space, to the room, to our seat, to this moment here and now, we are so blessed in. We will return to our song that brought us to meditation, just one verse, to anchor ourselves in the moment. you think you are, think you are, think you are? Who do you think you are, think you are, think you are? Whatever you answer is true. Whatever you answer is who. Whatever you answer is you. We all have a dark voice inside our heads, inside the coffee cup and under the bed. It feeds on our confidence and nibbles the soul, and lives to belittle us, to have all control. Saying, who do you think you are, think you are, think you are? Who do you think you are, think you are, think you are? Who do you think you are, think you are, think you are? Whatever you answer is who. Whatever you answer is true. Whatever you answer is you. Her voice kept telling her she was a fool. Next thing you know, she's failing in school. His voice had convinced him he'd always fail, and just like your brother, end up in jail. Who do you think you are, think you are, think you are? Who do you think you are, think you are, think you are? Who do you think you are, think you are, think you are? Whatever you answer is true. Whatever you answer is who. Whatever you answer is you. Well, I used to think that I was not able to go beyond what I had been labeled, till one day I learned that I had a choice and could listen to a much truer voice. So I went to my heart and not to my head. I got real quiet and here's what it said. Who do you think you are, think you are, think you are? Who do you think you are, think you are, think you are? Who do you think you are, think you are, think you are? 'Cause whatever you answer is true. Whatever you answer is true. Whatever you answer is you. Yeah, it's a new you. It's up to Thank you so much, and good morning. All you stalwart souls. Thank you for being here on a normal day. A normal day. It's cold and snowy, and the roads are, and we can complain about it, and I'm so happy. It's a normal day. So today's talk, who do you think you are? Wow. Right? Wasn't until I came to Unity and New Thought that I'm like, wow, what a loaded question. That I heard it a couple times in my life, because you might not know this, but I was a little full of myself when I was a teenager. It's so weird. So weird, When you're 16, you know everything. And, I'm starting to think that's true. Like, you know a couple things, but you think you know enough, to tell everybody else what to do. So, so I got to thinking, gosh, it is such a big question, and we've been talking about vision and talking about purpose, and where do we go from here, and what's my vision, what's my purpose, what do I want to do, what do I not want to do, I just want to take a nap, and that's a good thing too. So I love this quote, "The cosmos is within us. We are a way for the universe to know itself." And I think I've talked a couple times about when Jesus said, "I am the light of the world." Wow, talk about owning who you are. I am the light of the world. Whoa, buddy. And then he said, "You are the light of the world." Then that really got me, again, I'm not going to refer to my Catholic upbringing too much, but that really wasn't encouraged in Catholic school to be the light of the world. Other things, where there was still some charm left when I went to Catholic school, and one of the charming things was guardian angels. Guardian angels. Looking back, I can say that it was charming, but to this day, I know the guardian angel prayer, by heart. "Angel of God, my guardian dear, to whom God's love commits thee here. Ever this day be at my side, to light, to guard, to rule and guide." Wow. So there's good in all of it. There's good in all of it. And again, those people, I think, were just passing on what they got. And they, of course, were asked the same question: "Who do you think you are?" You're gonna do what? So we've been talking about love and vision and being the light of the world, and I've been thinking a lot about light, and especially since my dear friend Mimi sent me this. I've got about 4 books going at once. I'm sorry, and I'll always recommend a book. It's called Luminous Life. It's all about light and how light, the extreme gift of sunlight, the healing of light. Anyway, and I started thinking about this movie, Cocoon. Did you ever see that movie? Love that. Love it, especially now that I'm 68. And it takes place in Florida, and aliens come to get these pods that have been in the ocean, off the coast of Florida, and the aliens have Earth suits on, and they look normal, and they're scientists, and they rent a beautiful estate that has this gorgeous terrarium and a pool, and where they take the pods from the ocean and put them in the pool. And the estate is next door to a retirement home. And the seniors at the retirement home find this pool, this estate has been abandoned, sort of, and it's all, and they go, let's go swimming, and they jump in the pool, and they are transformed to their youth, to all this energy, and they're playing, and they're having a great time, and they're playing, and then they see the scientists coming off the boat that they had rented to go get the pods, and they're carrying a pod, so they hide because there's not enough time to get out of the pool area. So the aliens come in, and they're putting the pod in the pool, and the main guy, Brian Dennehy's good character, is unwrapping his Earth suit, and he's just light. I'm like, okay, I'm all in by this time, And then they all take off their earth suits, and you see them, throwing them into this chest. And they're watching. These guys are watching from the closet, the slats in the closet, and they're just light beings. And they make it out. And long story short, you can see it on Hulu, but you might have to buy a package. And I thought, I love this movie, but I'm not buying Disney and the package to see this movie. But it just reminded me of how delighted I was to be reminded that we're all just wearing these earth suits that look like this, and we're so concerned with this. How this looks and how this feels and how this acts. When in fact, when we take them off, we're just going to be light. I really think that. And it made me think about a time I was seeing a hypnotist because I wanted to stop grinding my teeth. And I'd already had a night guard, but and he regressed me, in hypnotism. I'm in for all of it, okay. And I thought, I wonder if I can. And so he said, okay, so you're at 4 months. How are you? I'm good. You're at 6 months. Oh, she's so tired. I was the 7th of 9. Oh, she's tired, and I have to be very good, so I can help her. Oh. Okay. Karma, baby. Divine appointments. I think our moms are the biggest contract we've got. Here's your ride, man. I wrote a song. Maybe my mom was on my side, or she was just my ride. When I really wanted to get into it, about my mom, talking ad nauseum, the therapists or sponsors or anyone who would listen, until I got tired of that story. And moved on. I thought, thank you for the ride. It was an interesting journey. But then he said, you're at the moment of conception. And I saw a bright light. And I said, oh, I get a body. I get a body. And tears. Wow. Having one of these, amazing. No matter what, even when it goes through stuff, even when it's challenged, because we just get a little closer. So sometimes I don't know why I even write my talk, but because when I'm driving here, I get this idea, oh yeah, right. But I do want to talk about the cocoon and that we're light beings, but also about, as we move into our vision and into the new world is here, and it is, talk about not for the faint of heart. This is big. I went for a physical last week, and just for some blood levels and how am I doing, and I want to astonish my doctor every day. And he called me with some results, and said, you're this, and he said, and your cholesterol's a little high, and I'm like, my father had a couple of heart attacks before he died of a stroke at 56. I was a kid. And so my mom lived to 103. And sharp as a tack. So guess what parent I thought about when he told me that? I did not think about my 103-year-old mom who was, on the boards until she was in her 80s in the theater, doing a show. So the mind. So I looked up a tapping meditation for cholesterol. There's a tapping meditation for cholesterol. Because he said, I can prescribe statins. And I'm like, oh, slow down. I'm just going to cut back on the almond butter, and maybe move a little bit more. And, because the range he was talking about was not scary. But it's his. He was doing his job, and I'm grateful for that. And so I did this meditation. It was so cool. I'm a big tapping fan. And they used Louise Hay, my heroine, Louise Hay, brilliant. They used her affirmations. And the metaphysical, spiritual reason is, there's medical and there's physical and there's metaphysical and spiritual. What's the lesson? Closing off joy. Closing off joy. There was I could talk about my past and my parents and everything they've been through that would warrant, this. Part of the meditation was being so disappointed so often that you wouldn't try again. So I thought, wow, that is connected to vision, isn't it? Because if you were bold enough to answer the question, who do you think you are? Well, I think I'm a successful accountant. Or I think I'm a wonderful physical therapist. Or I think I'm, a fantastic teacher to fourth graders. If you had the courage to do that, but were met with some resistance and it was hard, and especially now, who among us would not say, you know what, that was so hurtful, or being up for a promotion that went to someone not nearly as deserving. That's hurtful. That hurts. Not getting what we feel we deserve, what we've worked hard for. That's just disappointing. And it does plant the seed of, why try? A vision? Now, I'm not saying that visions don't take time. Gosh, I think they take a lifetime for everybody. And I admit, instant gratification, that's why I like to iron. And vacuum. Now it's there, now it's not. I like that. Other stuff is hard and sort of demands work. But still having the courage to do it. So I thought about courage, letting go of the past, being in the moment, and how much courage that takes to not only step into a bigger vision, make it speakable, make up some goals, some SMART goals, take a look at them, sort of quiet the voice that says, who do you think you are? That's never going to happen. Calm down, pull back, don't be so uppity, because that voice is always going to be there. That voice is always ready to, as Marianne Williamson reminds us in Course in Miracles studies, ego speaks first, ego speaks loudest. And it sounds a lot like my voice. And for someone who's looking for, a sign, not so much. To just calm down So, in 1979, I don't know how I got a copy of A Course in Miracles, but I had a copy of A Course in Miracles, and I read the first paragraph, and I fell asleep. It was completely overwhelming. And I didn't pick it up again until around 1985. I picked it up. It had the opposite effect on me. I got so agitated, and my head was like, oh, what? I don't get, oh, this is so weird, this is weird. And last year, in January of 2020, I saw Mornings with Mary Ann. Do we have any students in the course here? Okay. Mornings with Mary Ann. So I thought, I love Marianne Williamson. And I thought, I'm going to sign up for this. And it's reading, it's starting from lesson 1, going, there's a lesson a day for 365 days. And then she reads the lesson, and then she gives a little talk afterward, stuff to think about. So, you guys, I heard it. I was like, oh my gosh, I get that. I get that. So, I'm going to do it again this year, because in for a penny, in for a pound, anything worth doing is worth overdoing. But I don't think I can overdo this one, and really, it's fantastic. So I'm starting over, and again, it's new to me. And this is my favorite, one of my favorite lessons. All of them are a favorite in some way. But lesson 7 is, I see only the past. I see only the past. Darn it! That, I think, is the biggest, that's going to be the biggest barrier between here and where I want to go, is looking at only the past. And she talks about old ideas about time are very difficult to change, because everything you believe is rooted in time and depends on your not learning these new ideas about it. Yet, that is precisely why you need new ideas about time. This first time idea is not really so strange as it may sound at first. So then it goes on to say, I see only the past. I see only the past in this pencil. I go immediately to grade school in my head. And how hard that was for me. Grade school was hard for me. I see only the past in this shoe. I wish it were higher. I remember when, I could wear high heels. I don't have the feet for them. I see only the past in this hand. Oh my God. Thank you. I love you. Thank you. I see only the past in that body. I see only the past in that face. There's an improv exercise called Walking in Space, and the instruction for it is the improv people who are in the class, just walk the space. Just walk the space, and then the side coach says, now look at an object and don't name it. You might try this today at home. Just walk around your home and look at an object, but don't name it, just see it. It will maybe calm you. It had that effect on me when I first did it. When I first did that exercise, to just look at an object and not bring the past to that object. There's going to be a day, please God, soon, we're going to look at face masks, and wow, all this will come back. We may always have to wear them at some point. I hope not. But to bring this past into the future, I'm not so sure I want to do that. I want to take the lessons from this past and everything that this past has meant. I think it would be more beneficial to start to learn, just for myself, how to let that go, how to be where my hands are, how to not bring, I'm here with my bags that are packed to the brim with the past. So don't do this or that, or I can't go here, my bag, What if I just leave my bags and start anew? I don't know if that would be possible, but isn't everything possible? That we get to create what's new. We get to start from, you guys, this is like starting from ground zero. All bets are off. So what do I want to take into the future? I don't want to take my past, which is sort of ironic because I'm working on a musical memoir. I'm like, I'm so conflicted. I'm so conflicted. But I did want to read a couple quotes from this book because they're wonderful reminders of who and what we are. I love this one. Albert Einstein says, everything is determined, beginning as well as the end, by forces over which we have no control. It is determined for the insect as well as for the star. Human beings, vegetables, and cosmic dust, we all dance to a mysterious tune, intoned in the distance by an invisible piper. And then Dr. Gary Greenberg, his quote is, every cell has a job. Our bodies know exactly what they're doing. Every cell has a job. There's one there. Two more, actually. I love this. Allow the intelligence of life to guide the process. I don't know how to do that, but there is a power greater than myself that knows, that will guide me and myself. The whales have been following the same path of migration for millennia. It hasn't varied but a few centimeters. There's there are certain fish that go to meet the sun as it rises and swim to the other side as it sets. And this, wisdom has no author. It moves through us anonymously. The intelligence of life effortlessly directs nature and all its inhabitants. As this guidance moves through us, our personality disappears, and what remains is a contagious radiance, entering everything and everyone into a state of wellness. We're getting well. Before enlightenment, great confusion. Well, it's going to be a lightning bolt, folks. But we are getting well. It looks so different from what I thought getting well looked like. But we're getting well because what we're going to bring, we're not going to bring our past, let's bring some new ideas into the world that we want to create. With that, I'm going to close with a new song. Oh. was hard to, it was like turning around the Queen Mary, you know. Like, well, it's going to take some time. And I waited for instruction. And it came, you know, and it came slowly. So this is what came through this song. And I started writing the melody at my friend Julie Gold's house. Julie Gold wrote From a Distance. And she is one of the most beautiful souls I know and the brightest lights in the world. She lives in Greenwich Village. She is a dyed-in-the-wool New Yorker. And she gifts other musicians time with her piano that she wrote from a distance. I mean, she's a beautiful Aquarius, gorgeous, you know, a beam of light. And I got my hour with her piano, and this is the melody that came through. The lyrics came through later. Hold on, let go, you stubborn little thing. Okay, so you don't know what tomorrow brings. Maybe sit down and just get quiet. Let go of every task. You just might hear the answers clear to the questions that you ask. 'Cause you are out of time for anything but love. This is the last stop on the line of constant push and shove. Songs you didn't see coming, now it's all you're thinking of. But you are out of time for anything but love. Think not, talk less, you were never told. Just stop and confess all that glittered was not gold. Then you just got exhausted by the daily ruthless grind and the fear of what you're doing here, not at the head of the line. But you are out of time for anything but love. This is the last stop on the line of constant push and shove. No one saw this coming, and it's all you're speaking of. But you are out of time for anything but love. Maybe we can change it, might not be too late, but to try to fix what didn't work would be our first mistake. 'Cause we are out of time for anything but love. This is the last stop on the line of the broken world that was. Let's create what's coming from the view that's up above. 'Cause we are out of time for anything but love. Yes, we are out of time for anything but love.
That was wonderful. Thank you. All right. So we'd like to give a special welcome to our new guests. If this is your first time here, please raise your hand and keep it raised.